See, I'm gonna have to take notes because I don't see Brad coming on. Hold on 1 second. So we'll call the meeting to order at 7:05. Thanks everybody for joining this month. Let's see, our first order of business. Let me just check something. Jack, I'm not sure if you've ever joined us before, but just to give you a little bit of an idea of what the kind of sequence that these meetings typically follow. Our agendas are relatively the same month over month. We review the review the previous month's meeting minutes. We have a public forum, which allows members of the public to get anything that they want out, either whether it's business they want to present or any ideas or anything like that in front of the group, so that they don't have to stick around and wait till the end, till we're through other standing agenda items that the board has. That's usually followed by a grants and quarterly initiatives agenda item where we discuss anything that we want to put in front of the select board and any grants that we feel are attendant to or can support those things. The fourth agenda item is typically, or the last agenda item is typically other business followed by an adjournment. So that's how these things go. Dustin, Tanya, I'm looking for, so going into agenda item number 1, I'm looking for a motion to approve the last month's meeting minutes, which as always can be found in the BPAC's online share. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
And can I get a motion to, can I get a second?
I'll second that motion.
Great, thank you. Let me just note this. Meeting. Okay, so next we move on to our public forum. Jack, I'm not sure if you've got anything you want to discuss on this, or if you're just here to listen and respond. But if you've got anything, now would be a great time to talk about it.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just along for the ride.
Okay, great. Dustin, Tanya, Jim, do you have anything that doesn't fall under our typical initiatives and things like that that we need to discuss?
I do not.
Got it. Okay, then we'll move on to agenda item number 3, grants and quarterly initiatives. I mentioned at the last meeting that we'd like to get something in front of the select board for consideration now that we've had meetings with the town grant writer, and we've also had a few other things sent to us as far as hold on 1 second, I've got a helicopter flying over us. Hold on, I'm going to mute for a second. Okay, it's almost over. Mentioned that we want to get something in the next month or so in front of the select board, 1 or 2 items that of course are attached per Jessica Tietz's suggestion, that are attached to potential grants. We had discussed some of the grants that were out there last month, especially ones that had to do, I'll have to pull up the notes on it, but that had to felt like they could potentially be associated with assisted crosswalks and some of the other things like that. I'll also note that I have not heard anything back on some of the previous things that we've discussed relative to this, but I'll also note, as everybody probably in the village knows, they did start scraping and cutting Pine Street. So in advance of repaving Pine Street shortly, I know that some of the things that we had discussed were revisiting the traffic calming ideas that had been floated a couple of years ago for that. So does anybody have anything to discuss relative to grants and initiatives this month? Okay, then I'll move on to other business, which sometimes is different than the public forum and sometimes it's not. Jack, sometimes we use it as a catch-all for things that didn't fall under the grants and initiatives. line item. It's typically a place for the board to discuss these types of things, or anything that falls outside of the scope of anything that was discussed in the public forum or grants and initiatives. That typically means new ideas that people have that don't fall under that. It could be bringing up old business. It could be a place where people who've periodically joined us from the town office have things to float in front of us that they hadn't previously sent us heads ups on. I'm going to assume, probably safely, that there's no other business to discuss this month, given the last two agenda items. Well, this is a new record, 10-minute Bristol Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee meeting for this month. I'm seeking a motion to adjourn from one of the two board members, if I could get one.
Oh, this is pretty funny. I'll motion to adjourn.
Thank you. And could I get a second?
I will second that motion.
Great. Thank you, Jack, Jim. Thanks for joining. I wish we had more for us and for you this month. But we will, we will hopefully have more next month. So I thank you all for joining us, and have a good rest of your week.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
See you all later.